Sound check, sound check. Okay, we're fine. Sorry about that, guys. OBS has really pissed me off today. Like, I don't know why, but it's not recognizing my capture card. So I've literally been in the lobby since they started. I've been watching the whole quality. I just couldn't show you guys because it wasn't recognizing my capture card. So I'm just going to stream off Xbox. So sorry today. No, there's not going to be any screens, any fancy screens. There's not going to be any sounds that you can play. It's going to go back to old classic streaming off the Xbox. But let's head back to the quality. Let's not allow OBS mess up our mood. Persinio, I guess that's Pesci, leading the way with Deck in P2 and Deadly in P3. This is what I did expect for this season so far. The top 5 also not so surprising. We do have few new drivers on track like Rafael Tringler, Simon, Christopher Schulin. If you guys are watching the stream, please tell me how to pronounce your names so I don't mess it up. So we have Christopher Schulin, who we are on right now, who doesn't have a wing on his car. Wonder how he's going fast. Obviously, I know it's a glitch. Let's see track map. Yeah, he has a second. It's a quicker second sector for him. Will he be quick enough to get into the 126s? He definitely wants that. If he gets that, he can get a top 4 here, ahead of Black Panther and Hazer for the Ferrari team. Let's see as he pushes around the corner. Now, final corner, out of the straight, and with the DRS and the ERS, he's going to use it as much as he can, burning it to the end. And yes, a 127-1 for him. Not 126, but a top 4 for the Haas driver. That will be the end of his quali for sure, because he definitely can't go into set another time. Then behind him, we have the McLaren of Bevan, who will be beginning his lap. Actually, I believe his lap is over, so that's definitely going to be a 129.4. The end of Bevan's. And the end of Bevan's quali. I believe Bevan, not surprised Bevan is there right now. I mean, he's a tier 2 driver, so he's just here to reserve and get the points that he can. So you do not expect him to do as well as the other. Jaja is also a tier 2 driver who's in front of Bevan. So yeah, there you go. But Bevan's time with a 129.4, I definitely know he can improve on that for sure. Because that's even for a tier 2, that's not really a good time. Especially for a tier 2 like Bevan. Being 3 seconds down from the man on pole. It's a bit far. That's what you expect a tier 3 to be, 3 seconds down from the man on pole in tier 2. But time isn't up yet. I believe he'll have one more opportunity to set a time here in quality. Where's the... Let's see, this leader, fastest lap, okay. The best show fastest laps. It's going to be a very interesting race. Tesco is back. He's another tier 2 driver, but you do expect him to be the front runner in tier 2 and the favorite to win the championship this season in tier 2. And I have no issue with that. He's my teammate, so if my teammate can win the championship, or I can win the championship, we'll definitely be helping ourselves to get that goal. Because if you can win a driver's championship, that is the first road to constructor success. It's really quite difficult to win a driver's championship without one of your drivers being in constructor's championship without one of your drivers being in a driver championship fight. I don't remember the last team that won a title without a champion. The last team that won a title without a champion actually was my first team at Mercedes. My second team, I was a Haas at first. But the first time I joined Mercedes, as Pesci would improve on his time. Actually, starting the lap, the game said he did improve on his time, but he's starting the lap. We'll see if he does improve. 6/10 already up on his time. 7/10. Making so much time up in the first few corners is ridiculous from Pesci. And this man, Deck, reigning champion, who had a smooth time last season grabbing the championship, definitely is not going to have the same season this time around as he slams into the pit lane. That's the end of his qualifying, and he cannot beat the time that Pesci is going to set. His teammate goes up to P7. Good time for Mr. P. Next to cross the line will be the McLaren of Simon as he's past his teammates. Will be going into the pits. Well, Simon go P8 for Simon. Not a bad time right in front of Raphael Schwinger. And the quality session is over for most of these drivers. Let's head to the Aston Martin of UFRL Merck, champion from season 10 and in another season in tier 1. Somebody's wing is gone. This guy, somebody broke their wing coming out of that corner. But will Merck improve on his time? 2/10 of an improvement, but not much on the place. It's going to be P12 for Merck in the first race back in tier 1. The Mercedes of Ivy crossing line. Warren actually up to the top 5 for Warren. A good time there, beating Ivy surprisingly. And today he's going to be the #1 Mercedes driver with a better time than his teammate. The Aston Martin of Jaja being tier 2 driver crossing the line with a 1:26.8. Still a lot of time in front of Bevan, so I'm guessing Bevan probably did make a mistake somewhere. As Black Panther now will be going into the pits. His quality is over at P6 for him. Why is he crossing the line there? He's not going to go into the pits. He's just going to stay out so his driver can. It doesn't go through that long process of going to the pit. So once we put Pesci, our pole sitter, into the pits, quali will be over. But Pesci, on his first race officially back in UFRL, will start at the top. It's P1 for Pessinho. And as always, in 5 minutes, we'll be back to begin the opener. I'm mad about this because I had a whole graphic for the opener. That's why I'm pissed about OBS today. I had a whole graphic for UFRL season opener. I had a graphic for champion versus Pesci. I had a graphic for comeback driver. I had a graphic for a lot of stuff, and I can't show them now because OBS is actually pissing me off. But yeah, I probably need an update or something. I don't know. I'll check. Alright, people, we should be going anytime soon now. 5 minutes break as always. When does it end? When does this one end? So definitely I've posted in the race day launch. Certainly, certainly an interesting season to be to ahead of us. The grid. Oh, actually, do I want to show their strategies? Yeah, screw them. Everybody's on mediums, so there's no actual like different strategy. Except from Jaja who wants to start to the hard. So we'll see if that works out for him. Everybody else is on medium tires. Pesinho, Deck, and AK they're deadly. Not surprisingly, will start in the top three. Christopher Sholin in P4 and Wariner in the top five. That's your top five. As the rest of the grid look like exactly I expected it to look. And we'll see how this race is going to turn out. I hope Tesco does a great job. He's a tier 2 driver, so I don't expect him to do too much. But he did race here last season, so I expect him to do better than the other tier 2s like Perfin and Jaja. But we should go now, so I believe it's at 28, 8:28. Around like 8:27. There we go, 8:28. So the driver's already up at any moment now. And we can begin the first race of the season. It's official, lads. Season 12 is about to begin. Who's excited? I am. Another season of gold is what I want. I go into every season looking for gold, nothing else. And I've gotten gold every single season as a TP. Either for my team or for one of my drivers getting gold. As a driver title champion. We all love gold, and all the TPs will be fighting for it again this season. A season that's going to be very interesting. And when the lights go out, it's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and then a round opener, foot to the floor, and go. Pesci leads the way. The game is glitching, so it's not going to show me anything else for now. So let's just stick with Pesci. As there's contact made at the back, someone has gone for a spin. The kick salvers are making contact with somebody, and here we go. The game is back to normal now. And I can show you guys everything. So as we started, not the best start from tier 1. They're slightly sluggish. Hazer, as he's lost places now. His teammate Tesco getting ahead of him at the start of the race. A strong start from Tesco, making up places. As Ivy is going to lose places now, going off track, down to P16, down to the back of the pack. Black Panther is also at the back of the pack. So Hazer and Panther might have come together. That's the reason for their drop there. But as we head back to the front, Pesinho leads the way from Declan. And this time around, it's going to be a Visa RB versus Alpine fight for this title. But can AKZ Deadly put himself in this battle? He needs consistency in every race to beat these two drivers in front of him. And he definitely knows that. But crashing in quali is not the beginning of consistency for sure. But can he recover that? Not really a good start to quali. Not starting in a bad place, but crashing in quali is not really a good start to the season. But Wariner very close to Tesco here. That was 110 behind the Ferrari, and he's going to stick behind the slipstream of the Ferrari. Look for the move before they even activate DRS. Wariner wants to get by the Ferrari right behind his rear wing. He's going to go around the outside. The Tesco defended here. Wariner is going to defend the inside here. Wariner tries to scoop around the outside, but the Ferrari does a great job, and his teammate now is right behind the Mercedes of Wariner, who's going to be under pressure now from the Ferrari cars. And Tesco doing a good job to defend there, but that's slowly going to start losing them time to Merck in front, who's taking advantage of it. Another driver with a good start in this race, up to the top 8. And that's exactly what he does. Not the best at qualifying, but when it comes to racing, this man knows exactly what to do. DRS now has been enabled. Declan will use this opportunity now to try and overtake Pesci here. I say Pesci. I use Pesci, but obviously called the Pesinho. I just slipped and I just said Pesci. I don't know why that's so funny now. As Merck now is gaining on Simon, but because of the DRS that Simon has on that McLaren, he can't get by. Tesco is going to fall out of that DRS of Merck very soon as he slightly goes off there, and Hazer is right behind him now, putting pressure on that Ferrari. Declan has gotten by Pesci, but he didn't expect that, so that's why I wasn't too worried about staying with them. It's just the start of the race as Hazer now has gotten by his teammates, exactly what the Ferraris will need. As JSS falling out of that DRS, falling out of the pack in front, he wants to quickly get back into it because he has 4 drivers behind him who desperately want to be in that pack instead of falling off from it right now, as Tesco is defending for his teammates' life on the inside, dives down the inside, coming in hot from the Ferrari. Warren now has to take avoiding action as Tesco can't keep him behind. He knows what it is when it comes to defending. Rosted both wants to look around the outside of the Mercedes, doesn't get it, decides to hold it back. Ivy though would take that look around the outside of the McLaren. They are making contact, but Ivy will complete the move. Brilliant stuff from the Mercedes. Bevan not making it easy for him, but Ivy will clear him, and Bevan now losing another place to Panther behind. Oh my days, that was a bit of a glitch in it. I thought I was about to run into the Mercedes as Pesci now is back ahead of Deck. So these two will continue to switch, and Deadly was stuck in a precarious position here that he wouldn't be able to overtake any of them in front. They continue to DRS themselves, and they're all doing a good job to save as much ERS as they can. Deadly needs to do a better one for him to pass those 2 cars. It's going to be quite difficult as Merck is trying to hold on to the DRS of Simon here, knowing that he has the problem of Hazer behind, and he will do so. The Aston Martin chased by the 2 Ferraris, who is still under pressure from Warren, who now has rusted both right behind him, and this race is starting to heat up. And I just clocked something. If I'm streaming on, here we go. If I'm streaming on Xbox, I should be able to hear the cars. There we go. I just increased the volume on my headphones, so I can now hear the cars. Oh my, this feels so good. Honestly, this feels like relief. Declan there under pressure from Delhi. Delhi couldn't get by him. This feels like relief because when I'm on OBS, I never hear the cars. I just do comms on them. As Rusted Bolt now will get past Warren, and Warren are down to P12, and it's getting more difficult for the Mercedes team as Warren's teammates drop into the back and not really helping him in this situation. He's been bombarded by the Ferraris and the Red Bull of Rusted Bolt. But now Red Bull sees Tesco in front as Hazer is pulling away from him, pulling out of that DRS as he sees Tesco in front. And this is going to be a good call. And Simon right behind Raphael Tringler. You see Raphael Tringler. There we go. Tesco is behind. He's going to keep. He's not going to have that DRS to defend. Hazer is going to get by Merck here. Merck will try and walk with Hazer because he knows Hazer might just slightly have a bit of pace as the Williams will get past Simon. Raphael Tringler is going to begin showing his pace now. Next target is going to be UFRL. Mr. P. Simon will slide back though with that DRS. Will get back in front of Raphael Tringler. He wants to be the one leading that pack as Woody has now overtaken Warren. He's losing more and more places the Mercedes. Woody locks up a bit there. Warren will try and hit him with a switchback, but there's not enough space to get it completed. JSF stuck right behind them now as Merck is going to be sliding closer and closer to Tesco behind, who just might get back into his DRS. And ironically enough, last season at Jeddah in Tier 1, Tesco and Merck and myself, we all finished right beside each other, and it's happening again. Tesco and Merck right close to each other. We'll see if this is going to work out for them. I believe Hazer was also close to us that day, and it just goes to show you that natural pace stays mostly the same if your practice stays the same. And I guess these drivers are practicing as much as they were doing last season. So AKZ Deadly now still stuck behind these two, can't do anything to get by them, but he knows that it's all about being smart and the strategy call here now. Will he be the one to hit the undercut on the 2 drivers in front? It can work. The hard tires can last long on this track. So can he go 1 lap earlier than the 2 drivers in front? Try to, as Deck tries to hit him on the inside, Pesci, and he will. Deck takes the lead of the race, and this championship fight has begun already at Jeddah, and it kind of reminds me of Max and Leclerc as they'll be going at it lap by lap. because Pesci won the place again. He's going for the outside. Deck will defend the inside. Can Pesci hold it around the outside? Yes, he can. With the momentum with that DRS, but Deck is going to hold it back on the outside. He has the grip. He has the traction. They're going wheel to wheel, the Alpine and the Visa Alpine. The Visa Alpine will stay ahead, but the Visa Alpine with a switchback of life gets Declan into turn 4. And what a move from Pesci, as he's showing Declan it's not going to be easy for you to win the title this season. And that's exactly the reason why Black Panther has DNF out of the race. Safety car. Or was that virtual safety car? Virtual safety car as Black Panther out of the race. Kick Sauber, the first team to DNF this season. And after the Kick Sauber grabbing the constructors last season, it's not really the best start for the new outfits and the new look team, as Black Panther has gone into the wall, and that will be the first driver to DNF in the season. Let's put that down for the record. The season 12 first DNF, Black Panther. And let's try and remember season 12 last DNF. And I mean DNF on track, not just going into the pit. So is this a safety car? I believe it's a virtual safety car. A safety car will see the car on track, and there's no safety car on track. So it's a virtual safety car. Maybe some drivers can take advantage of this, as DRS has now been enabled. The race is back. Anybody with penalties low. Nobody did get a drive through there, but Rusted Bolt though is going to go get the momentum on Tesco. Looked like he lost time before that virtual safety car. Bolt doesn't want to dive down the inside. Hazer though is going to dive down the inside of Rafael Tringa. Bolt having DRS. Who has the momentum as they head down the straight? Rusted Bolt will get by Tesco here. Tesco wants to defend the inside. Will he defend the inside? One Ferrari attacking, another Ferrari being attacked, as Rusted Bolt will get by Tesco, and up to P10 he goes. The top 10 for Rusted, and he can now start charging to the front, as Hazer now is going to be pushing. Black Panther has left the session as Hazer right behind Rafael Tringa. He started a bit higher than he was at the start of this race. It wasn't a good start from the Ferrari driver, but now he can recover. He has Rafael Tringa and Simon in front of him, but they are 3 seconds behind the man in P5. This top 5 is going to be a very interesting one this season. Mr. P, probably the one with the least pace out of this 5. I don't really know a lot about Christopher Schulin, but he might just be showing that he just might be slightly quicker than Mr. P behind, because I know how strong Mr. P is at Jeddah, and to keep him behind, it's a very difficult task. So these 4 or these 5 are definitely going to be the ones going for the championship this season. It's a tall order for Schulin, AKZ Deadly, and Poem, but nothing is impossible in Formula 1, as Declan right behind Pesci is charging up that ERS. Doesn't have that much in his car. Pesci will have slightly a bit enough to defend from Deck, but Deck will have that DRS, that 10-kilometer advantage that we're losing in the next car regulation. But this time around, Declan has it, and he's going to head down the straight. He's going to be gaining on the Visa RB. Can he get Pesci as they head to turn 1? Not close enough. He looked for it down the inside, but the bait won't have been strong enough for Pesci to put his car off the optimal line. And here we go now. Hazer practically pushing the Williams of Rafael Tringler, who is now seeing what it is to race in UFRL. Simon has raced in UFRL before. This is just his comeback season, so he knows what it is to be up here, as Merck is close to this pack. This is exactly how I expected the pack to look. Tesco doing a good job to hold on to Rusted Bolt here and to pull away from Woody behind. Woody's a quick driver, so Tesco will need to bring all he has in his arsenal to keep him behind. As we head back to the front, Declan is still behind Pesci. Pesci very strong here at Jeddah. One thing I know, that this guy is very strong at Jeddah. He did race last season for the McLaren. I believe he got the win at Jeddah when he did reserve. So he will definitely try to get that win again over Declan, because he did get it over Declan last season. And AKZ Deadly. So it repeats once again, but this time around, Pesci is a full-time driver who will be looking for full-time points for his third Tier 1 title in UFRL. And if he does win the title for a third time, that would be a record time for a championship winning driver in UFRL. No driver has won a tier title 3 times. There might be a driver with 3 titles, but I don't believe any driver has won the Tier 1 title 3 times. And Pesci will be the first to do so. Mr. P was the first to win the title twice, Then Pesci got his second title. But now they'll be looking for the driver to be the first to get his third title. Hazer decides to go for the early one. He wants the undercut. Hard tires on lap 9 for the Ferrari, the first driver to go into the pits. And he's definitely going to gain time on the drivers around him. He needs the undercut on Raphael Schulin and Simon, who were proving to be quite difficult to get by in this one. But Poem now still in this top 5. He knows that he can just recharge as much as he can to hold on to them. Declan has spun. Declan has spun. And the pressure is definitely coming to Declan now, as he's now racing against drivers that are not going to make it easy, as he's trying not to get in front of drivers getting by, and that's going to bring out a safety car. But that is definitely still going to compromise Declan, but that also is going to compromise the likes of Hazer, who decided to go into the pits. And will he get in front of the drivers in front of him when they do come? And maybe he will. He probably still will, but we will see. I'm not too sure. But will he get past Andre Schulin and Simon? That's the question Hazer will be asking himself, because he was right behind them when they were going into the pits, and definitely they are going to be ahead of him. And very bad luck for the Ferrari of Hazer, as Declan brought out the safety car after the spin. He definitely will be going into the pits for sure for hard tires, but now he has to recover his race, and the champion definitely feeling the pressure now, as there's drivers around him who are going to push him to the limit. Can he prove himself that he couldn't just do it when he didn't have the pressure, but now he has it? Can he grab the championship when it's all on the line? Will he make it? Will he be the third driver to win the second tier 1 championship on the grid? We'll see. Hazer is not going to get by anybody. Hazer is going to lose so many places after going into the pit lane there, and after being in the top 5 in this race. Hazer is going to drop right behind his teammates once again, and he's going to have to recover his race. Very unlucky for the Ferrari of Hazer, but Simon and Raphael Tringler definitely will be happy with that outcome, as Raphael now into the top 5. Pesci, I keep saying Pesci, man. Pesci knows that he is a bit quicker than Deadly. Deck was the one that was really a problem for Pesci, so the Visa RB will try and run away from the sister car of the Red Bull as soon as the safety car comes in for sure. Bevan, a lucky driver, can now get back into the pack after being so far back from the pack. He will now get back and join them. Will Bevan be a championship contender this season? I mean, I did at first think he might be in tier 2, a championship contender, because I expected tier 2 drivers to move up and no one to go down. But after the likes of Tesco, Bam, Woody, myself, Salty Stevens, and the rest of us going back down to tier 2, and having the likes still in there of King Luke, it's going to be very difficult for Bevan to mount a championship fight that he was going for. That was the tactic of the McLaren this season. After last season, not the best season, finishing last in the constructors, the first pick on the draft was very important. Bevan backs himself to be able to get strong points in tier 2, and he also backing his mate Cowley to get him those strong points in tier 3. I believe Cowley can do so. He's been in tier 3 for a while now, so he has that experience and he probably knows what to do to get strong points. And having to help his mates, he's definitely going to be practicing a bit more this season. So we'll see what the McLarens can do. But not looking as bright for Bevan for his drivers championship fight. He can still win it, because I know the dedication that Bevan can put in when it comes to practicing. But it's going to be a very, very tall order, because he's already racing with 3 of the drivers that will be racing with him this season, and all 3 are ahead of Bevan. Jaja Bing, Woody, and Tesco Meal Deals, all ahead of Bevan. So it's very difficult to tell. We can already say that Tesco is definitely going to be your favorite to win the championship in tier 2, because you can see here is already the quickest tier 2 driver, doing a good job to hold on to the tier 1s. He's driving like a tier 1, because honestly he probably is still a tier 1, and that's why I let him and that's why I'm letting him reserve. He's gonna definitely gonna reserve most of the races. I will do some. I will do some of the races because there's some of the races I do like in Tier 1. But for most of the races, I will give it to Tesco because I would rather just do the comms for Tier 1 guys. Ketika should be in on this lap. Deck, Hazer, and Hazer have a long way to go to get back to where they were. Deck right in front of his dad now. Will his dad just stick behind his son and try to cut through the pack? We'll see if he can do so, but the pace that Deck has, it will be very difficult for Woody to hold on to him, as he was struggling to hold on to even Tesco. So safety car in this lap, and Pesci is going to take his time. I hope he knows the rule not to go too slow, so let's enable that telemetry so we can see. Yep, he knows he's over 100, so the smart driver, he knows what he's doing. You're not allowed to go under 50 kph because we've seen it happen in this league so many times, and that just caused so many issues. So under the safety car, you have to be at least over 70, which that's the only way that really makes sense. Pesci is going to take the wide line, and when will he go? He goes now, and that is a good exit from the Visa RB. AKZ Deadly behind. He's not going to be close enough to make the move, or will he? He's going to be gaining on Pesci. Pesci wants to pick the inside line, but he's far enough to keep that driver behind. Someone is going into the pit lane there. Oh, I believe. Oh, it was just a bit of a glitch. You look at someone was going into the pit lane, but that's a bit of a glitch. As they are going to stay as they are, Hazer will get past his teammate. Tesco will not make it too hard for Hazer back into the top 8 now. He's going to have to start chasing Tesco with a 3-second penalty. The first driver with a 3-second penalty on track. Now we'll see if he can run away from that. It's going to be very difficult for him to do so. I don't believe he will be able to run away from track, as his teammate in front is taking an excursion of track, and that's going to make him lose the DRS. But Rusted Bolt wants a move on the inside of Tesco. Can't complete it. Wasn't close enough this time around. Decides to pull out. A smart choice from the Red Bull. I believe pull out and smart choice has been said many times in this world. As AK said, Deadly is 8 tenths behind Pesci. He desperately needs that DRS to make sure that Pesci doesn't run away from him. He's going to use everything he has in this car to keep close to Pesci before the DRS will be enabled. Rafael Tringler now falling out of the DRS of Mr. P in front, who is in the top 4 and is definitely going to be racing in the top 5 of this league, as Deck now stuck behind Rusted Bolt, and it's going to be quite difficult because he has Rusted Bolt, Tesco, and Hazer Merc to get by. Deck has a lot of top drivers to get by here, and his task has been made extra harder as Christopher Schulin now is falling out of that DRS of AKZ Deadly and Pesci in front. That's exactly what Mr. P and Rafael Tringler behind would want. They don't want Christopher having that DRS and being able to pull away from them. Christopher will use a lot of his ERS to try get back to the top 2 to get that 10-kilometer advantage, keeping the Alpine behind, and he will do so. In the Alpine, they're drifting slightly wide, but doing a good job to keep his car in the optimal racing line. And I believe there's yellow flags at the back. 3-second penalty for Rafael Tringler. The penalties are starting to come in. Tesco, Ivy, Rafael Tringler, all with the 3-second penalties now. And it's Jeddah, so you do expect it to happen, as Bevan now is losing time to Jaja behind. He's going to fall out of that DRS quite soon. Pessinho in front, leading the way. AKZ Deadly has done a good job to stay with him. The top 4 still in the DRS of each other, as Rafael Tringler is out of it, and him and Simon can't continue their fight. But this man, like I said, he knows what it is when it comes to racing. He doesn't need to qualify the best, but he knows how to get to the top. One of the only drivers to win a race last season. Declan, Hazer, and Deadly were the only drivers to win races last season, as Declan dominated most of the season, as Deadly and Hazer and Merc were the only other drivers that could grab a win in the season of domination from Declan. But AKZ Deadly showing Declan how it's done. He's going to get by Pesci. Can he pull away now? Deadly, the man that was not on everybody's lips when we talked about the title fight, is going to show you that he needs to be on your lips, side by side with the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Tesco want to hold him out the outside of Rusted Bolt now, but he can't complete that move. Bolt on the outside of the track is going to get ahead of the Ferrari, and lovely racing between these two. Bolt now has fallen back from his teammates. Exactly what Tesco's plan definitely was. And Hazer now is not going to have that pressure of Bolt behind. Yellow flags. Declan again. It's Declan again. And definitely that setup that he has in his car, probably not the best. He did say that he almost lost it in quali, but Declan is not having a day that he will want to remember. His teammate, though, is going to have to recover strong points for the Alpine team today. But that spin from Declan will surely see him finish out of the top 10. We know he has a lot of pace, but I don't believe his pace will be strong enough to even finish in the top 10. But Bevan now is showing his pace as he's gotten ahead of Jar Jar Bay. He has those hard tires that will be better than Jar Jar's mediums at this moment of the Grand Prix. And Bevan can use the opportunity to pull away from him. He has Ivy in front, and he'll try to get close to Ivy, who's stuck behind JSS. As there's more yellow flags at the back, is Declan once again. And let's not even show him. We'll see if he does finish the race, though. Hazer will get by Merck into the front. And you know, it's not over for Declan, as JSS has been overtaken by Ivy. It's not over for Declan. If you can remember, Bahrain 2023, the Red Bulls retiring. Oh, as Mr. P now gets a 3-second penalty, so his podium chances have been thrown away. This is definitely going to be your podium as long as they can keep out of the penalties. P now will be thinking about the drivers behind him, but the closest driver is 2.3 seconds behind, so he will still finish in the top 4 if he does finish like this, because Rafael Tringler also does have a penalty. He's trying to pull away from Simon here. He does so. Hazer now has that DRS. P will be worried about Hazer for sure. Hazer has a lot of pace in this race. He was one who got screwed by the safety car, but he's recovering it back now. He's going to first try and get past Simon here. Then his next target is going to be Rafael Tringler in front, as Wariner will get by Woody up to P11, as this grid is very, very difficult. This is a very difficult grade to go. If you make one mistake in Tier 1 this season, that's definitely the end of your race. As Pesci still struggling to get by AKZ Deadly here. Deadly showing Declan how it is to handle Pesci, and Pesci using all the ERS that he has stored in his car, but it will not be enough. The AKZ Deadly will stay in front. Jaja has gotten by Bevan here once again, but Bevan will have that DRS to try and make the move on Jaja. As most of the drivers will stay as they are. Bevan has it now. He's going to be gaining on the Aston Martin. He's going to pick the outside and get back on Jaja. These two can just keep DRSing themselves to try and get up to JSS in front, but it will be quite difficult for them to do so. As we head back up to Hazer, who's right behind Simon now. He wants to clear Simon and Rafael Tringler as soon as possible, because he knows in front Mr. P has that 3-second penalty, and Hazer does have the pace to get into his 3-second buffer. The DRS that he will get from these two drivers in front is exactly what he's going to use. As Declan has retired from the session, which is quite shocking. I expect him to finish the race and take as much points as he can, even if it's really no points for someone like Declan. If you want 2 points, it's really not anything, but in a constructors fight, every point matters, and Declan definitely knows that. But his frustration has gotten the best of him, and he will be retiring in the pit lane. As Hazer now is right behind Simon. Will he be stuck behind Simon, because Simon has that DRS on Rafael Tringler in front? Hazer is going to have to use all he can to get back these two drivers who are setting up the move on themselves. As here we go now. Simon has the DRS on Rafael Tringler, who can't defend from it. P is going to get past Shulin here. Shulin doesn't have that penalty. P gets up to the podium, but because of that 3-second penalty, Shulin just has to hold on to him to finish on the podium in his first race in UFRL. As on the inside, Rafael is trying to keep the McLaren behind, and that is going to give a chance to Ferrari of Hazer to get right behind them. Merck is in a good position here. He also can't finish ahead of Rafael Tringler into the top 7 from Merck. Woody now losing a place to Ivy as the Mercedes are trying to claw their way back into the top 10. Tesco in front has that 3-second penalty, so Wariner is definitely going to finish ahead of him in this one. But so far, I believe the Ferrari team are scoring the most, or is it the Red BZRB? It should be. If Pesci wins, BZRB will score the most today. but the Ferrari team will score the second most as we are. And that is definitely putting a smile on my face. If my drivers in this tier can keep scoring in the top 3 test squad, and I have no issues scoring, being the highest scoring drivers in tier 2 every week. I believe we should. That's the expectation for myself and Tesco, to finish in the top 5 every week, both of us. No excuses. I've told him, and he knows that we do have the pace, so there's no excuses this season, as AKZ Deadly has been overtaken by Pesci. But Deadly, with a few laps to go in this race, is still close to the Visa LB. He can take this win. Pesci can take this win. P is just 1.8 seconds away from them. I did tell you the pace that this man has at Jeddah. Don't write him off because of that 3-second penalty. That's why he's not even looking for a race win here, as Deadly and Pesci are side by side. Deadly really wait for the move around the outside. He can't complete right the outside as they head to turn 4. No, we cannot. Pesci's going to keep him behind. But all that squabbling is just going to get Mr. P to catch up even closer to them. We'll see if he has a penalty that he can appeal at the end of this one. He definitely is going to try to do so. But Simon and Hazer now. Hazer still not getting by Simon and Raphael Tringler, stuck behind these two drivers as Rusted Boat is trying to get up to them. Tesco is now under pressure from the Mercedes. 7 laps to go in this one. So there's still a bunch of laps to go as Jaja is losing a lot of time now. He's the only one on those medium who started on the hards. I told you, starting on those hards, especially in a track like Jeddah where you do expect a safety car crash or something, it's probably not the best decision, because now he has to drive on the mediums all the way to the end. Mediums that fall off after 6 laps, and he's done 8 laps on them. So he's definitely going to finish at the back. I'm going to struggle on those tires, but he's bringing points to his team, and that's all that matters. But yeah, Pesci leads the way. Currently, the Ferrari team are scoring the most. Currently scoring the most as we speak. As Pesci is doing a good job for Visa LB, but he's one of the drivers without a teammate. I'm surprised none of their tier 2 drivers could reserve today. But Deadly will be gaining on Pesci. Will Deadly steal the win away from Pesci here? He wants to go around the outside. Pesci will pick the inside line to defend from the Red Bull, as the Red Bull can't complete that move. Simon still stuck behind Raphael Tringler, and that's definitely frustrated the Ferrari of Hazer behind. He needs Simon to get by Raphael, and that will give him the opportunity to get past Simon, who will not have the DRS when he completes the move on the Williams in front, as Jaja will be going to the pit now. He's speeding into the pit lane, and that's definitely going to be another retirement as he's out of his house. Hazer now gets a 3-second penalty. And that is the end for sure for Hazer. And I was also looking at the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls will score the most here today, as Rusted Boat is definitely going to finish ahead of Hazer. But can he also finish ahead of Raphael Tringa? Red Bulls, Puperesi is dog, set up a team that can win a constructors fight. And I would definitely be happy for them if they can do so, because Red Bull actually were the team that made Kick Sauber, myself, grab the constructors last season with the legendary trade of Shazam and Pax that kicked off our constructors fight. Can they this time around get the momentum and grab the championship? It is a good team that they have there. AKZ Deadly and Rusted Boat are going to lead the way in tier 1, and they are already doing a good job at that. 3-second penalty in that car that Hazer is on in, and Merck is in that buffer of the 3 seconds. Hazer knows that for sure. He's going to try and pull away from Merck there, but it's going to be a very tall order as he's trying to pull away from moving Rusted Boat. Getting the move done on Simon is his first task, and he hasn't completed that. But I'm shocked that Simon can't get past Raphael Tringa here, even with the DRS, as Shulin has gotten by Mr. P once again. Mr. P knows it's not a fight that is needed to happen, because even no matter what, he's going to finish in P4, and Shulin will take the podium on his first race in UFRL. Hazer now is pushing as much as he can, but it doesn't seem like he will be able to run away from Merck and Rusted Boat. And it looks like the Ferraris are going to be losing places, and both might not finish in the top 10 at the end of this race. But Red Bull have a great start to the season. Simply lovely stuff. Can their start be finished with perfection? Can Deadly get the win from the Visa LB team? Deli definitely will be thinking about that. He's going to try and save as much ERS as he can in his car. But I believe it would be smarter for Deli not to go for any move yet. Wait, the race still has a few laps to go. Recharge as much ERS as you can on your car and get Pesci burning his. Get Pesci using his tires. So on the last lap of the race, you can use everything you stored in that car. But Simon now is going to have another opportunity on Raphael Tringler. He's gaining on him, but to still not be enough. He doesn't have enough to get by him here. And he has to stay behind. Rusted Bolt falling out to that 3 seconds of Hazer in front once again. But Hazer still stuck behind Simon and Raphael Tringler. He knows that he has to get by them ASAP if he wants to finish ahead of Bolt. He's not going to finish ahead of Simon. If he wants to finish ahead of Bolt on Raphael, he needs to push as hard as possible now as Woody with a 3-second penalty, as him, Bevan and Jaja showing that they are tier 2 drivers, and Tesco is showing that he will definitely be the one going for the title in tier 2. As he's pushing hard here. Warren now still stuck behind him. These two have been fighting all race, and Tesco has done a good job to keep Warren now behind. But with that 3-second penalty, he's not going to finish ahead of that Mercedes. But now the Ferrari is closer to the McLaren than he's ever been in all these laps. Does the McLaren have the DRS on the driver in front? He does, but the Ferrari very low on that ERS. The McLaren still struggling to get past Raphael Schulin there, who taps the wall, and would that give the opportunity for the McLaren to get close to him? It doesn't seem like Simon is not still close enough. Schulin using everything he has in that car. Jaja is actually not out of the race. He just sped into the pit lane, so he did not retire. He's going to get points for the Aston Martin team. So good on Jaja for not retiring. I'm glad to see that. But the McLaren, can he finally get past Raphael Tringler here? He's going to pick the inside. The McLaren finally gets it done after many laps stuck behind him. But Hazer locks up and spins, and that will be the end of his chances to finish ahead of Raphael and to finish close to Simon there. He spins and sends him right behind Rusted Bolt and in front of Merck, who can't hold on to Hazer now, as his calamity for the Ferraris, as both of them are not going to finish in the top 9 if Warner can get closer to Hazer in front. As we head back to Pesci and AKZ Deadly, who is going to be a winner between these two, they definitely will be going for it. As Schulin has done a great job on his first day back and will be getting strong points for the Haas outfit today. And here we go, AKZ Deadly now, lap 22, Jeddah, round 1, season opener. Deadly wants to make a name for himself. Nobody has had his name on their lips, but we have his name on our lips now, and it's 3 laps to go in this one. Pesci under immense amount of pressure from that Red Bull. He has the DRS on this lap. Will he get by the Avisa RB? He probably wants to, but it's not going to be easy. Pesci has done a good job to save up that ERS, but with the DRS and the ERS, he's going to be gaining as the wheels turn round, picks the inside, wheel to wheel they go. Can the Red Bull complete the move? Inside line, turns to the outside line for Deadly. Pesci is going to keep that place. They're still wheel to wheel here, but the Visa RB stays in front, and this race is hitting up between those top 2. Hazer now has got him by Rusted Bolt, but he's almost lost it once again. He's now going to push one more time. Raphael Trulin also getting by Simon once again, but Simon knows that he doesn't have that 3-second penalty, so he doesn't need to push too hard here. All he has to do is stay in that 3-second buffer of Raphael in front, and Simon himself will be finishing in the top 5 in a good recovery from him. A good race for the McLaren team for sure. As we head back to Pesci and Deadly in front. Going to be 2 more laps of racing when they do finish this one, and I want to see who is going to be your winner. Deadly is doing a good job here, but I believe Pesci might have enough to hold Deadly behind. We will see coming to the end of this one. Merck is not in that 3-second buffer of Hazer, so Hazer can still keep the top 8 in this race as long as he can pull away from Merck here. He's about 3.5 seconds, 3.6, 3.7 seconds away from Merck. So Merck is losing a lot of time to them in front now. Worry now is now going to be in that DRS of Merck, and he's has to worry about the Mercedes, talk less of the Ferrari in front that he's trying to catch. The Mercedes recovering his race here in this one. We're now having a strong race after being bogged down for the first stint of this one. He's now showing the pace that he has. AKZ Delhi trying it once again, trying to take the inside line to the outside line. Pesci is going to do a good job and defend, but it's now time for the setting up of the final lap. AKZ Deadly knows that he just has to recharge as much as possible as Bolt has overtaken Hazer. Bolt doesn't have that 3-second penalty, so he can attack Simon. He can go to get P6 in this race. They will be fighting for the final top 6 position as Rusted Bolt and Simon without the 3-second penalty. Rusted Bolt will have the DRS. Can Raphael Tringler do enough to pull away from Simon on the final lap of this one? It's going to be 5 more tenths that he needs to get away from that McLaren, and he's definitely going to be pushing to try and do so. The McLaren has the problem of Rusted Bolt behind, and at this point it does look like Raphael Tringler will finish ahead of him. 3 seconds for everybody but 13 for Jaja, and they've all had one stop ahead of Jaja, who's had 2. But Simon now has fallen out to that 3-second penalty, so he only is going to finish in P6. Another strong debut drive from a new driver. Raphael Tringler will get to your top 5. Seems like AKZ Delhi now very close to Persinio as they will be beginning the final lap of this race in Tier 1. AKZ Delhi using everything he has. Pesci will aggressively defend the inside. He's going to take it back around the outside again. AKZ locks up as he tries the inside line, and he's now going to have another opportunity as we head back to the back straight. Pesci is holding that Red Bull behind. Shulin can keep Mr. P behind. He's going to get that podium. Merck has been overtaken by Wariner, who wants to get close to Hazer here, showing a lot of pace, and looks like he will finish ahead of Hazer in this one. Hazer falling out of the DRS. Simon is still in that 3-second buffer from Raphael Tringler. A lot is happening right now. Lots of places still to be made at the end of this one, but the most important place to be made, is it going to be a win for AKZ Deadly, or is it going to be another one for Pesci? We're used to him winning. We're not used to him under pressure from Deadly, and it's going to be the final round of this one. He has the DRS on the first back straight. The DRS is going to be gaining on that Visa RB. He has everything stored on his car, and here we go now. Pesci needs a very good entry. Hey, Rusted Bolt now with a 3-second penalty. That means Simon definitely is going to finish ahead of him. But here we go now. AKZ Deadly with that DRS gaining on Pesci. Will Pesci pick the inside, outside line for Deadly? Can he hook it around the outside? Pesci is going to go deep. Deadly's going to try and hit him with a switchback. He has the DRS. He's going to hit Pesci with the switchback. And on the final lap of this one, Deadly is going to cross the line. Deadly wins at Jeddah. What a race, as Pesci is going to take P2. Christopher Schulin takes P3 in a fantastic race here at Jeddah. Simon gets P5 in the end. Rusted Bolt 3-second penalty is going to drop to P8. The Ferraris are just going to have to set for 10 and 11. A good recovery from Merck in P9. Wariner in P7. Definitely I'm going to think about my driver of the day for him, as that is the end. That is the finishing grid. Deadly wins it all. We didn't expect him to do it, but he kept his cool. He kept his momentum. And the Red Bull, simply lovely start for the team. Deadly wins at Jeddah. Fantastic race. If you guys have been talking in chat, honestly, I have not had a single opportunity to look. I haven't had a single opportunity to look at the chat. This race has been electric from start to finish. There we go. Standing at the top is going to be Deadly. What a race from him. As he celebrates, his team are absolutely delighted because they know, everybody knows that on the first round in Tier 1, the champagne is going to taste the best at the Red Bull camp. Deadly wins at Jeddah, and is accompanied by Pesci and Christopher Schulin on the podium on his debut for the Haas team. What a race that was. Fantastic stuff from the AKZ Deadly. And he is in the championship fight. Don't you forget it. Driver of the day, rusted boat. Yeah, it was a good recovery from him. If not for that 3 second penalty at the end there, he probably would have gotten a way stronger position. But there you go. That's your finishing order. Let me make sure I get the race director because definitely people will need it. Not too long. It is long. You expect it to be long at but not too long. At Jeddah. That should finish in order. And there you go. Pesci will take the fastest lap, so he'll get that extra point. But he definitely will be gutted losing that race at the end there. Definitely, because Pesci wants nothing but a win. And he couldn't get that in a day that Declan didn't have the best of days. As Declan says, up the shitty Alpine. Did you guys okay expired? I don't think anybody has accepted him to write that. There was no mods in there, so thank you guys for tuning in once again. I've been Willie Fernandez. I hope to see more viewers next week to watch this tier, which is going to be a very, very interesting tier. I've been Willie Fernandez. We have been UFRL. Good night and goodbye.